Pioneer Rogues is a great deck for people who like spirits, but hate winning.
Yo, what's good, Spirit Squad? It's been a while since I've seen y'all. And here we're going to be playing some Azorius Spirits because the last time I saw y'all was something like a month ago. It's been a really long time. But hey, we're going to play some Azorius Spirits today. I finally got a day to myself and without an allergy attack. So, woo! Big ups to that. And this list is, I won't go so far as to say like super exciting because it's not really doing anything new. But what I've done here is simply taken some slots that were in the main, moved them around to the sideboard, and then simply included a few things to address what the meta is currently doing. To that effect, we're putting in things like a Catilda in the main deck to address the fact that the format has gotten a little more aggressive, especially with the addition of Boros Convoke, which didn't really exist the last time I played here. We're also going to be putting 3 copies of Slip Out the Back into the main, and this is going to be addressing the Rakdos midrange matchup, which is of course always been a bit of a problem, but hopefully a lot less so with the main deck Slip Out the Backs. We've also got 2 copies of Lofty Denial to complement our Geistlight Snares, so we still have a pretty robust counterspell suite in the main deck as well. But other than that, it's basically the exact same stuff that we've been doing. So we've got our Hall of Storm Giants, we've got a couple of Mutavaults for some creature lands, and everything else just some really good solid Azorius colored lands. The rest of our creature suite minus the Catilda is the usual 24 culprits that we have to start with spirits. So of course our 1-drop, Supreme Phantom, Shacklegeist, Rattlechain, Spell Queller, very normal things there. For our sideboard, this is where a lot of things have been shifted around. So against aggro decks, we've got 4 copies of Portable Hole and 2 copies of Skyclave Apparition, which is a bit of a new addition to my sideboard. I have not been playing this card in a pretty long time outside of exactly banned lists. We also have a pretty robust anti-Rakdos package. So we've got 4 copies of Wedding Announcement, which is kind of easily the best card to be playing against them. But also 3 copies of Invasion of Gobakhan here in this sideboard. Now, I was playing them in the main, but that was also before the rise of Boros Convoke. So Boros Convoke is kind of everywhere on the ladders and in big tournaments and stuff like that. And Invasion is really bad against that deck, but it's pretty good when it's good. And that's kind of the recipe for a perfect sideboard card. The other 2 cards here are going to be copies of Mystical Dispute, and this is going to be a bit of an acknowledgement that, first and foremost, Azorius Spirits is actually a top 10 deck in Pioneer right now, so I don't know how many of y'all have been watching these videos and adopting your gameplay likewise, or have been simply tuning into things like the Discord, the Patreon channel, like Facebook groups and DMs and things like that. But people have been very hyped about Azorius Spirits, and obviously I've been trying to tell y'all this for months, but the deck is fucking fantastic. And it's really nice to see that a lot of people are finally picking it up. So we've got 2 copies of Mystical Dispute to address that matchup on top of the 4 Portable Holes, but Mystical Dispute also does a bunch of other stuff right now. So we've got to deal with things like Creativity, which does sideboard into just like a full Izzet control deck. Azorius Control, as always, is a top deck in Pioneer. We've got to deal with Rogues. Bant and Mono Blue Spirits still see a decent amount of play, and I'm sure there's a few other blue decks that I'm not remembering right off the top of my head. Oh, like Phoenix, there's one. But anyway, Mystical Dispute, lots of jobs right now. So I'm fairly confident about this version of the list. Anyway, what we're going to do is take it into a 5-match league, same as always, and I'll see y'all in round 1. Okay, welcome to round 1. We're on the play, and our hand is not bad, right? Like, we've got the Sailor, the CO, we've got 2 Shacklegeists, and a Counterspell. So, can't lie and say I'm sad about this. Okay, no companion reveal, which of course means that neither of us has really told the other anything. So let's see what our opponent does with their first land drop. Snow-covered plains. Okay, so snow-covered specifically means it's probably just going to be like the mono-white angel deck that plays the Book of Exalted Deeds, because these decks can play both Mutavault and Faceless Haven. So let's see if that's what this is, or if it's simply something else. Recruitment Officer. Nope, looks like it's just going to be humans, except this version specifically is trying to play Snowlands for some reason. Okay, we'll find out what that reason might be. And for real, it could just be nothing. Like, I could just kind of be full of it for a turn. So what I can do here is develop my Shacklegeist and use this turn to not attack, but instead to tap down Recruitment Officer. This plays a little poorly into exactly Thalia, but it allows me to untap and against not Thalia have CO plus Lofty Denial available, and if they ossification one creature, then I still have the other. So it's almost a win-win as long as we don't draw like horrendously off of the CO. And I'm fairly certain somebody's going to ask. So what I want to do here is simply tap down this Recruitment Officer and not take the damage for it. I didn't want to attack with Spectral Sailor this turn specifically, because why would I simply trade my 1 damage for their 2 damage? So instead, I'm just going to tap down Recruitment Officer this turn and not even worry about it. Okay, we're going to go to combat. So let's go ahead and, as advertised, tap down this Recruitment Officer and simply see what they come up with on post-combat here. So they could play Thalia, they could play Ossification, they could even play a post-combat Lieutenant, but it looks like it's going to be Hopeful Initiate plus another 1-drop, and that is Dauntless Bodyguard. Sure, probably protecting this thing, but I'll be honest, I don't think I care about that currently. And it does choose to protect the Initiate. So a third Shacklegeist, probably not on the list of things I needed. So let's go ahead and equip the Shacklegeist and get ready to attack. And I'm doing it like this again because my Spectral Sailor can block, but my Shacklegeist can't. So I might as well make my Shacklegeist the attacker. So let's yes and yield. And a Spectral Sailor is the next draw, which is actually not that bad. So now I'm holding up the ability to either have Lofty or Spectral Sailor available in combat here. And I would actually rather use the Lofty Denial because I've only got 2 mana available here. I don't want to a Spectral Sailor not draw a land, untap, and only be able to single spell with 3 mana available. Instead, I would rather have Lofty Denial be used this turn, and then give myself the ability to double spell using Spectral Sailor and Shacklegeist at minimum next turn. So there's the Invasion of Gobakhan, and we know how good that card is, so I'd rather not. Okay, so we are going to be clicking Attack All here, which by itself I don't really have a problem with. I am going to be blocking the Dauntless Bodyguard. I don't really care about Recruitment Officer's ability, but in some universe, I might ever be able to beat this in combat. So let's give ourselves that ability. I don't think it'll matter, or honestly even come up, but you know, just in case. So that, don't particularly like that. It does tie down their mana quite a bit, which that part I do enjoy. But let's just get an attack in and start from here. And an island is actually kind of decent. So I'm going to Shacklegeist first, then Mausoleum Wanderer, and hold up the other Spectral Sailor here as a good friend. And this way, I do suck to a Brutal Cathar targeting this. I'm aware of that. Thalia actually doesn't matter. Coppercoat Vanguard kinda does. No, it just does. Oh my god, please let me kill that giant killer. Yes, sir. All right. So now I get to do this, and we're going to have a good time here. So what I'm going to get to do here is simply block the giant killer, block the Spectral Sailor here, and then I can use these two to tap this, and that's probably irrelevant, but I get to get rid of the giant killer, which is the, oh my Lanta, let's go. All right, I will be doing this, and yeah, so I'm holding 2 Shacklegeist, which is obviously super not preferable here, but I want to draw something that can block. Yes, give me another card, please. A Catilda. So that would be decent if I actually had another mana to use here, but as it stands, what am I holding? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Xaxes? No! Oh god, I should have counted first. Well, I'm dead. Shit, I'm dead on board. I guess I have to hope they let me use Lofty Denial? Maybe they don't attack with Mutavault for fear of me having something with Flash. Okay, so there's the Invasion, which is actually decent for me because, yes, they take the Catilda out of my hand, but now they're not killing me, which means I have the ability to top deck a Supreme Phantom for the kill. So if they take Catilda, then that is definitely like just their best thing. And actually, I forgot about Thalia when I said use my Lofty Denial, like, whoops. But of course, the miscellaneous thing with Flash statement still applies there. So, I mean, there's no way they don't take Catilda. Like, there's no other reasonable take here, right? But yeah, they took Catilda. Okay. So now they're going to get to attack me for 5, the invasion for 3, flip the invasion, and I'm still kind of stuck hoping that I have access to a card titles are difficult, a Supreme Phantom, because that's really the only way I'm getting out of this is by killing them this turn. Okay, so they do have the 1 to pay, of course, for the Light Shield Array. I take 5 and go to 6. These guys get pumped, and let's draw a Supreme Phantom. Come on. Not really what the doctor ordered there. Okay, so now I guess I just attack with both and hope to hit an untapped land to cast my Catilda. So they go down to 2. There's my untapped land, and yeah, let's just cast a giant lifelinker, I guess. So this does bite it to a Brutal Cathar, which is honestly fairly obnoxious. And what is she, a 5/5? Yeah. What happens here? I think I still die, actually, if they just like click attack all with the Mutavault. Because even if I block Thalia, I gain 5, go to 11, but that's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, hooray. So what do I need to hope for here? Actually, no, I don't think they really have a reasonable out because they don't play Portable Hole in the main. If they have Giant Killer or Ossification, they can just like get rid of this and kill me. So let's hope for not that. Okay, that does work for me because if they attack all, I block Thalia and I go up to 11 and down to 1. So this works, right? You're 5/5? Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. We're at 1, they're at 2. Let's go. Magic the Gathering game is difficult. All right, let's attack all. So it looks like we have definitely stolen a game 1 from the invasion of Gobakhan with the help of Catilda, already proven her worth in the first game we play. That is hype. So we want the Portable Holes, and I do want these 2 Skyclave Apparitions. I don't really think I want the Wedding Announcements, but let's see what happens here. Shacklegeist is probably the weakest of the bunch here, and what else do I not really want? I guess I can afford to take out 2 Spellquellers. So I'm going to be on the draw, so Spellqueller is going to be a little bit less good than it is on the play, but that's kind of true of every card in that deck, so I don't really think I needed to say that still. And I do like a slip out the back against the deck that's trying to sideboard into like a million copies of things like Ossification, Portable Hole, Brutal Cathar, so they're going to side into like a shit ton of removal, so I do like keeping in the slip out the back versus all of that. Okay, game 2. Our opponent's mulliganing. We've got Trip, Spectral Sailor, CO, and Geistlight Snare, so, yeah, we're keeping. So they open up with Planes into Recruitment Officer. Don't mind if you do. So the Mausoleum Wanderer is not bad either. I don't want that, of course, here, but would really like more things like either additional Geistlight Snares or Slip Out the Backs, or even like a Spell Queller. But I am stuck dealing with a fairly aggressive start from their end, so job opponent. Upside to this whole thing is that they do only have 3 cards now, so I'm going to open up with the CO. Actually, no, I can draw Portable Hole. So I'm going to do this first and make my land drop before attacking, because I want to leave my white mana open in case of exactly that. I didn't, but this is still fine. So I have a Geistlight Snare for anything super threatening. If they simply activate this, then I don't mind flashing in a Spectral Sailor as a blocker for this. And then I can untap, hopefully draw a 3rd piece of mana and go from there. That won't be so bad. I can counter a Brutal Cathar now that they made their 3rd land drop. Good, go fuck yourself. And now, if they start trying to come at me with things like Ossification, I'll have a Rattle Chains to go from there. So I take 4, go to 13. There is a Catilda here, which is pretty nice, not gonna lie. So let's do that. And we draw another Geistlight Snare. That's exciting. So what do I want to do here? Hold up Geistlight Snare plus Spectral Sailor to block, untap, hopefully draw a land for Catilda, or I can Rattle Chain something. Any of that seems pretty decent. Portable Hole is what they're trying to do here, which is pretty nice, of course, because I got Rattle Chains. So now if they have this as their last card, like a Brutal Cathar or an Ossification, they can take care of the Rattle Chains, but they are going to be hellbent fairly soon, and we've got a full grip, so let's see what happens. They could just like level up the Mutavault, which I'm actually super cool with. A Dauntless Bodyguard, probably protecting the Thalia's Lieutenant. It does. So they can level up here, attack me for 8. I block the Mutavault, take 5, go to 8, untap, try to draw a land for Catilda, and continue going from there. I don't hate it. Still not a land. Deck, help me out here. We're doing good. I maybe should have been a little more specific. But here's a Mausoleum Wanderer, and now I can double Spectral Sailor or Spectral Sailor plus Geistlight. Either way, I'm fairly happy with these things. Okay, a land is like actually picture perfect for us. Sick. So now I get to flash in my Spectral Sailor A, Spectral Sailor B. I get to make Mausoleum Wanderer a 3/3, and that means that I get to block the Thalia's Lieutenant kind of scot-free for a turn here. I will be taking this 3, but I get to do this. And if they sacrifice the Dauntless Bodyguard, now none of my creatures die. And if they don't, then both of their things die. So it's not a great trade for them. So now I'm at 5 with all of my creatures in play.
Power on.
Oh, fucking shit. You know, I don't even have words for this anymore. Like, I just apparently refuse to ever pay attention to my damn speaker. So what am I holding? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 if I play the other Wanderer, which I will not do. So let's just attack like this. And I still have my Geistlight Snare, which does stop a Brutal Cathar, so I'm fairly happy with our situation here. Adeline doesn't even matter, does she? No, she doesn't do anything. That's fine. So she does make Thalia's Lieutenant into a 3/3, which will eventually be a 4/4, but I just don't think I care, right? Like I simply block here. My Spectral Sailor does die, but I get to come back with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I have a Spirit in hand, so this will trigger for 9? Yeah, okay. And it's not like they can cast anything to make this a 5/5, because I have Geistlight Snare, so hooray. And here's this to trigger for lethal. GG's opponent, let's move on to the next round. Bloop. Ooh, we got the die roll. Fuck yeah, let's go. And our hand is going right back, actually. So this one's a lot better. So I've got a counterspell now, doubled up Shacklegeist. I will be putting back one of these. And don't get me wrong, this hand does need some help to be fully functional, but honestly, I'll take this. Let's see what our opponent's actually playing, though. Ketria Triome. So are we playing against like a random Omnath pile then? I'm mostly okay-ish with that. I don't see a Karuga or anything, so that's, I guess, an okay start. And I would like to see another land, though, because I want to be able to, like, Geistlight Snare this turn, which is all well and good, but also want to make use of this here Slip Out the Back. So let's see what they try to cook up first before making any other choices. Nissa, absolutely not happening. This card's really good. But here, let's see a land would have been nice for that, but let's see if I can pull a white land in the next, like, turn or two. So I do have 2 Geistlight Snares and a Slip Out the Back, so there's a whole lot of draw steps that I actually do have the ability to work around or beat here, but I am pretty scared of things just like Omnath coming in down and resolving because I don't have other options, right? So let's continue this attack here, keep our little beatdown plan going, Geistlight Snare what's likely an Omnath here, and then hopefully I can draw a white land so I can come up with like Spell Queller plus Slip Out the Back. And this is not really a card I feel like I can beat if my clock is this slow. So I am stuck countering this too, hoping for something that's not like Chain to the Rocks. A Lofty is actually kind of decent here. So Lofty plus Slip Out the Back does make it so that my Shacklegeist can at least keep doing its thing. But like a white land for this Spell Queller would just be super lovely, right? 3, 4 mana. So that's likely the Omnath I mentioned earlier. It is, and it is not happening. Broker's Hideout. Okay. So that was pretty good to have the Omnath countered then, because yikes. But now I still need a white source. A second Slip Out the Back. Okay. So not the white source I asked for, but here we're just going to try to keep pushing the aggressive clock button and really just cross our fingers because we're still not really fast enough to do the thing. Escape to the Wilds is actually an okay turn for me here because they can play like Broker's Hideout, Stomping Ground, but they can't Leyline Binding from this. With just the lands that we see here, they also can't cast this Nissa, but they do have 2 land drops. Okay, never mind. So now they can Leyline Binding, and that's probably what they're going to cast here. And it is. So let's see which one they target. Doesn't actually matter because I'm doing this. But they're not going to get to slip. And now the cool part about this is I'm doing 5 damage next turn. So we're actually looking at a 2-turn clock, not a 3-turn clock. So shoutouts to the hell yeah, white source. So shoutouts to the opponent for actually giving us an excuse to use that Slip Out the Back. It's kind of like a pump spell. So let's see if they decide to do something here that will justify me using this Spell Queller. I'm sure this is coming first. It is. They have 3 more cards in hand. So I will do this. and really, I guess, see what happens. We're going to Grow Spiral in response to that. Completely fine by me. So they can not put the Broker's Hideout in. That's got to be like a regular land drop. All right, whatever. That doesn't actually change anything on my end, I think. No land. Okay. Now, Nissa's kidnapped, so no crazy value off of that. Leyline Binding again. All right, well, we're not going to be terribly happy about that opponent because I've got Slip Out the Back again. So 2 cards in hand. They're trying to take out my Supreme Phantom, but 3 + 2 is still 5. So I actually don't need the Supreme Phantom to finish killing them, right? Oh, no. That's only going to be a 2/2. You know what? Yeah, let's rescue our friend. I actually thought the counter was on Shacklegeist, not on Supreme Phantom for a second. So, whoops. But let's see if this seals it up or not. Opponent just put dang in the chat, so I'm pretty sure that does seal it up. This is cyberbullying. Yo, cyberbullying is hilarious. All right, I'm gonna keep that. Okay, so out of our sideboard, we do want the Mystical Disputes, we want the Invasions of Gobakhan, and I don't really want the Wedding Announcement or Skyclaves here, even though Nissa is quite good. So I'm just going to do this. Take out the Shacklegeist, take out the one-off Catilda, and go with a plan that is very likely to allow me to protect my own creatures from their removal. So what's in our hand? We've got 2 1-drops, Spell Queller, Geistlight Snare, and 3 lands. Can't really ask for too much more than that, right? Oh, I lied. I can ask for more than that. And it looks like we're going to get more than that. Hello, Mystical Dispute. I love you too. So if they have like a Rafine's Tower... Nope, never mind. I was going to say Rafine's Tower would give them all 5 land types here, but I'm just going to run this Spectral Sailor out into a potential Rending Valley and call that shit a day. Mutavault is actually not a bad draw here. So that means that I'm going to get to develop an attacker here. Let's start doing this. Next turn, I have a white source available for Spell Queller, and I don't need to cast a Mausoleum Wanderer until I have additional mana available. So I feel like I should be all right with this. Okay, what are we casting? We are casting a Risen Reef. I'm going to use my Mystical Dispute. So I'm going to kind of get in while the getting's good with that card. I don't want to walk myself into a Leyline Binding turn or anything like that where my cards end up being useless over time, so I'll use the one that's the most situational there. So what's this? They only have 3 land types, not 4. I'm sorry, they only have 4 land types, not 5. So without a swamp, this is still a Leyline Binding proof turn. They need 6 total. Oh, they have Chain to the Rocks. Oh man, never mind. I was going to say Leyline Binding still costs 2, but no, Chain to the Rocks does cost 1, and we talked about it earlier. Sucks. Sad. Etc. Oh, never mind. I'm happy again. Life is good for only one of us. So now I've got Rattle Chains plus Geistlight Snare, and I'm drawing cards. All right. I was going to complain about the Spell Queller being taken earlier, but I guess I'll just shut the fuck up now. What's this, an Omnath? It is an Omnath. Okay, so I will go ahead and Geistlight Snare the Omnath. Let's just not even worry about that. They have not made a land drop, so I'm still... Okay, never mind. I was going to say, so I'm still going to play as if my Rattle Chains will be good next turn, but I'm just not going to cast my Rattle Chains this turn. What's here? A Spell Queller. That's fairly excellent. Let's go ahead and get ready to draw a card. Bloop. Another Spell Queller. Pretty good. Now, playing Mausoleum Wanderer here does a couple of things. A, it simply turns off a face-up Escape to the Wild, right? But also, it's nice that this means that I don't have to owe them the fact that I have Rattle Chains here. So, like, they're going to target this thing, the Sailor, and I am going to get to Rattle Chains. If they... What? Dispute? Oh, is this a Rending Valley? That sucks if it is. It is a Rending Valley. Okay, not much I can do about that. And the target for that was already declared, so... Alright, so I guess I'll just give the Rattle Chains itself the hexproof. And they still can't really attack here or anything like that. And next turn, if I draw a land, I do have Queller plus Geistlight. If not, I still have Geistlight, and I'm fairly happy about that. Yeah, so I'm not going to play anything this turn. I'm just going to do this, hold up my Spectral Sailor plus Spell Queller combo, and I will be fairly happy about getting to do that. So they can have a Leyline Binding or something, right? And I'm actually going to start this off with a Geistlight Snare, because once again, got to get your cards while the getting's good. I don't want to, you know, have my Geistlight Snare outpaced by some, I don't even know, but something that can give them additional land drops or anything cool. So let's get an attack in for 4. I'm not going to put my Mausoleum Wanderer in this turn because, again, I'm a little worried about cards like Escape to the Wild or even Bring to Light. So I want to be able to use my Mausoleum Wanderer as a pump spell for this one so that they have a higher chance of being able to be used as counter spells. But I will flash this in now. So let's do that. Let's untap. And I'm currently looking at 5 damage on the board, so what I can do here is simply level up my Mutavault, get an attack in, and because I've got 3 mana left over, I can still cast a Spell Queller. Oh, they're just not going to block any of it. I'm not even going to press my luck there. So I could have put in a Spell Queller for the additional 2 damage, but why? Like, I just don't need to press buttons. I'm already winning. Like, I don't need to risk them doing something, not dying, and then untapping and having, like, Omnath land. But yeah, you see that? Like, their hand actually wasn't even bad, right? Like, Leyline Binding would have cost just, what? This cost 2. They had the Dispute. We tried to play around that as best as we could. They had the other Omnath, which is not bad. But all of these good cards just, like, don't matter when you're on your shit. So, GG's opponent. Let's move on to the next round. Today's video brought to you by FusionGamingOnline.com, your one-stop shop for all your gaming needs. All right, round 3, we're on the draw with a fairly slow 2-lander. This hand's going back. That is infinitely better. Okay, so here, what do I want to put back against an unknown deck? I'm going to put back the Mutavault, actually. Yeah. So I'm going to keep all the creatures. I'm going to keep the CO and the Slip Out the back. And against a basic forest, I'm feeling pretty good about my choice of putting back the Mutavault. So let's see what they do with the forest. Oh, it's mono green. Okay. So clearly not super happy about being on the draw and without a 1-drop to just like kind of go off. But given the circumstance, this was probably about as good as I could have asked for. So I'm actually not going to play a sorcery speed thing here because I have my rattle chains now. But they can come at me with a mega shit ton of mana right now. So like if this is just a Storm the Festival or one of these, then I am kind of boned to it. Not much to do about that. Okay, so I am at least going to play the rattle chains anyway. And now let's see what we can get when we untap. Another rattle chains. So not the best, but what I can do here is hold up Geistlight Snare or end of turn Shacklegeist, tap down Cavalier, and start attacking. So at least 1 or 2 decent routes are kind of available. Okay, so I am going to counter the second one of these and hope that nothing too terrible happens to me from here. Oh, they're attacking. Okay, it's actually a little better for me. So let's see what happens when I... Oh, right, Kiora. Duh, never mind. We thought things were fine, things were not fine. Still no land. So unfortunately, that means still no hope. Now, this isn't to say that I feel super bad or anything about my decision to put the Mutavault back or anything. I still think that was right. We just happened to get punished for it. A 3rd Cavalier. Fine. All right. All right. So we've got some Skyclave Apparitions here and Portable Holes. Words that I don't particularly care about are Catilda. There's some Rattle Chains over here and... Oh, wait. This list has Slip Out the Backs. Right. God, this is a Slip Out the Back list. But I'm still taking out 2 of these Rattle Chains. So let's go ahead and submit now. We'll be on the play. And we have 7 cards I actually want to. Cool. Much better. So let's go ahead and just start off with our lovely little friend here. And we'll wait until the end step so that we can play our friend Spectral Sailor. That's an Oath of Nissa. That's not an elf. That's actually way better for me. And they found a forest, which is completely fine. So let's play this. Do the untap. And a Rattle Chains is the draw. Still not exactly what the doctor's ordering here, but oh well. So here I'm just going to go ahead and start with an attack. If they play an elf next turn, then I'm just going to go ahead and Portable Hole it, plus hold up Geistlight Snare for a 3-drop like Pelucranos, and life should be fairly easy from there. But if they're doing nothing, this game is actually over. So the only thing that I'm like even potentially scared of here is, I guess, what? Oh, never mind. I was going to say a Skylasher, but that's not even possible with the Skyclave Apparition now. Oh, and that wasn't it anyway. All right, cool. So they're actually just skipping their first 2 turns. So now if they play Pelucranos, I can just end of turn Skyclave, untap, continue. Kiora. Okay. And yeah, I was going to say, I have to assume they're not doing anything with the Kiora, but just in case I'm being pump faked, I'll still take it out. Okay, so now Kyora's gone. I've got 5 power of attacking. And what's my draw step? In a Darker Wastes. Since we got the Darker Wastes, I'm actually going to activate my Mutavault, attack for 7, and hold up the combination of either Shacklegeist or Geistlight Snare. So not really too much to even possibly feel bad about here. Besides, I'm up a game. I'm sorry, besides, I'm down a game, so I don't really feel bad about this. A Karn, a Great Creator. I actually don't care about Karn. Like, they already made their land drop, so there's, like, nothing they can get that's even kind of scary here. Yeah, I didn't think so. So, game 3, we're changing nothing. We're just going to resubmit. And the cool part about that is that they actually did not see... What is this? Well, my opponent's mulliganing, so I'm going to join them. But Jesus Christ, that was rough. I am going to keep this hand, put back Rattle Chains. No, I'm going to put back the Skyclave. So they're taking a mull to 5, but at least I'm mulliganing to, like, Mausoleum, Curious Obsession, Portable Hole. So my mulligan is going to be a lot less of a feel bad potentially. Okay, so we do have a forest elf, and let's see what my draw step is. Damn it, I just put the other one back. All right, well, I'm actually going to portable hold the elf here because I don't want to deal with a turn 2 Pelucranos. Sick. Oh, wrong color. That's the one I want. So now, if they don't do anything super terrible here, like if they just play Kiora, for example, okay, then I can draw land. And I can have CO plus Geistlight. So I am going to give myself the chance to do that. So let's attack their face, draw the card, and yield as always. And we drew the land for the Geistlight. All right, sick. So now they can play with a land up to a 5-drop. So if they play like land plus Cavalier, then I've got the Geistlight Snare ready. If this is a Karn, I will Geistlight that too, because I'm kind of scared of what Karn can get. I would, what do I want to see? I guess... an Old Growth Troll isn't that scary, but I'll still counter it to deny them Devotion for Nykthos. I think I really should just counter the big, scary whatever with Geistlight Snare, kind of while the getting's good, because I'm not guaranteed to actually get use out of this Geistlight Snare, but it looks like we're actually not going to do anything. They just untap the land for no reason. I'm a little concerned, but at least I have a Geistlight Snare in hand, so let's give ourselves a chance to, I guess, use it against anything but Skylasher? Don't be Skylasher. Okay. Cool. Looks like it actually was just a misplay. Not gonna lie, that was really scary. So what big bad 4-drop can come of this? Ah, 2 Nykthos and now it's a Cavalier. Okay, I will very happily counterspell that. Get the fuck out of my face. I'm sick and I'm tired of looking at this damn card. So here I would love to draw a land. A Geistlight Snare is nice. It's not the land I asked for, but it is nice. That's the land. Thank you. And since they are missing a land drop, I'm actually going to do this and get rid of Kiora, rather than hold up a counterspell or like a spell queller. In this way, even with a land drop, they don't have access to another Cavalier. And looks like they don't have access to anything else either, so sweet. GG's, we're 3-0. Yo, Andre from the future here. So this weekend is the regional championship in Dallas, Texas, and it's the end of day 1. So we actually have a bit of a metagame breakdown here that we can go over. So real quick, what's happening in the regional championship is a ton of Rakdos midrange. Out of about 1,400 registered players, 247 of them are playing Rakdos midrange. So this deck is a ton. It's taking up like 21% of the field, and yeah, it's a lot. Next up is going to be Mono Green Devotion, and if you've been following the MTG Goldfish tier lists or anything like that, then this is not really going to be any kind of surprise. But Azorius Spirits, we actually had 38 pilots pick this deck up, which is pretty sweet. So we're still in some of the most popular decks in Pioneer now, which is fairly new territory, even though people have been recognizing just how good this deck is. But it's still pretty nice to actually see it put into practice at a bigger tournament like a regional championship. Rounding out the bunch are going to be Creativity, Greasefang, Humans, Convoke, Lotus Field combo, and right under us, Rakdos Sacrifice. And a lot of these decks are performing pretty decently well. To that end, we also have a bit of a breakdown of the win percentages of what's doing the most winning. All right, and this is where we kind of get to put our humble brag on, because if you look at the very right column here, under MW, that stands for match win percentage. And we'll see that, you know, there are, of course, a few decks that have exactly 1 or 2 pilots. And, you know, if those 1 or 2 pilots actually end up doing well, then they're going to have a pretty high percentage because there's only one of them, right? So after 8 rounds, if you go 5 and 3, that's a 62.5%. Really high. But you'll see that the 2 highest win rates for decks that have 5 or more pilots are both Spirits lists. So Mono Blue Spirits with 5 pilots in the field here has a 59% win rate, and Azorius with 38 pilots after day 1 has 57% win rate. So anytime that, you know, you'll see like on Discord, on Twitter, or anything like that, that I say, hey, Spirits is doing a whole lot of winning, and you should probably be paying attention to this deck, because if you can overcome your bad matchups and even improve them from whatever they are now to like 40 to 45%, you are going to do a lot of winning with this deck. And it shows in a big tournament like the regional championship, where people have a chance to really, really prove themselves and get to events like the Pro Tour and the World Championship even. Spirits is still doing the best out of every single played popular deck in Pioneer. And of course, right under the two of us are Mono Green Devotion, which is for a very specific and good reason. So Mono Green has been pretty well known as a deck that likes to beat up on Rakdos Midrange, and Rakdos Midrange is by far the most popular deck in this entire event, with more than double the number of Mono Green pilots that we saw. So it stands to reason that the Mono Green lists are playing against a lot of Rakdos, beating a lot of Rakdos, and they're being pretty well rewarded with a 56% win rate. That's really good. And then rounding out the rest of the pile here is going to be Selesnya Angels, which honestly beats up on a lot of Pioneer right now for the same reason we do. They just don't get to play counter spells. Jeskai Ascendancy is actually one of the 2 decks that has an undefeated player after all of the rounds of day 1. So that's going to be something that's kind of cool to watch. So if you like Jeskai Ascendancy, now's your time to tune in. 5 Kalorian, and that's just going to be like those big giant Omnath decks. But sometimes that extends to the Enigmatic Fires lists, which is the other undefeated deck after day 1. So I'm going to be really hyped to see both of these really cool decks just kind of like do the thing, right? But then we start to get to more normal territory. We've got Rakdos Sacrifice, which is a really good deck right now. Mono White Humans, which just got Coppercoat Vanguard. Scroll down past a couple of 1 or 2 offs here. Orzhov Midrange has 3, but that's still pretty impressive on their end, 52%. And then Gruul Vehicles, another deck that's pretty well known for having a positive Rakdos matchup. So as long as you have a good Rakdos plan, or are simply playing Spirits and jamming it to the point where you know the deck in and out, you're going to do pretty well at events like this. Just wanted to let y'all know what was going down. Ooh, die roll 1. Let's go round 4, and my hand is pretty damn good too. Alright, well, can't lie and say I'm sad about this. Alright, so here's a land, here's a Mausoleum Wanderer, and it is time to find out what my opponent is playing. Oh, okay, they took them all to 6, but it looks like we duress. Aw, well, goodbye, CL. Good time knowing you here. Everybody say goodbye to it. So a Duress and a Blightstep pathway, are we just playing like Rakdos Midrange but with extra discard spells? Is that what's happening here? Another Mausoleum Wanderer is actively kind of good, because I'm not going to end up like, you know, playing the Rattle Chains at Sorcery Speed or anything, but I do want these up. I still have mana for my Slip Out the Back, and now even more so than before, Bone Crusher Giant just looks really embarrassing. So a Blood Tithe Harvester, obviously understood, you got it. So let's do the untap. And a Supreme Phantom's the draw. Well, time to have one angry opponent coming right up. And I'm pretty sure they do know about the Rattle Chains, right? Yes, they do. Okay. So they do have perfect information on what's in my hand, but keep it real, the way my hand's set up right now, I don't care. It's actually a little bit sad times that this happened to be a Duress and not a Thoughtseize, because the difference between them being at 12 versus them being at 10, that probably matters by like an entire turn, right? Because my current clock is exactly 5 damage. So that's really funny that it happened to work out right, because right now I have exactly a 2-turn clock, but with them being at 12 instead of 10, this is actually 3, not 2 turns. So I guess that worked out a little bit well for them. Granted, hand's still pretty good against what they typically do, so I don't think it'll end up mattering. but it's a neat little thing that they got out of their deck choice. Okay, so we are going to Blood Tithe Harvester here. You know I have to slip out the back, so I don't mind using it. If they want to Fatal Push here, oh, a Stomp? Well, I'm just going to do this. So I'm going to keep the +1 counter on this one, which is why I sacked the other one. And I get to untap and just have a Rattle Chains now? Well, that fucking rocks. Oh, a Darker Waste was honestly pretty bad. But here they're going to go to 8. And assuming I have to use my Rattle Chains on my next turn, it does mean that any spirit will trigger the Rattle Chains and be lethal, because if I have the Rattle Chains on a table with the Supreme Phantom and no Mausoleum Wanderer, that's 7 power. So if they just play like, I don't know, a Shieldred or something here, yeah, I don't really care about that. Then any spirit here turns to lethal, but I don't think I'm going to fire one off in the face of a potential Fatal Push. I'm just going to chill. A Lofty Denial. That is actively very good. Okay, so take 4, go to 4, and you know I have a Rattle Chain, so I don't know, good luck, I guess. And a Blood Token kicks out another Fable. That makes sense. Fable's not going to be very useful here. So they can draw and discard to look for additional copies of things like Fatal Pushes, Power Word Kills, really anything else to help try to fight back. They discarded 2 lands, so I guess this is what happens if they stumble, but they are looking at lethal on board, so even a Resolve Shieldred does them no good here. A Swamp and an attack means that they have a total of 6 mana. Keep it real, don't really care about that. I go from 20 down to 18, and let's see if they have really anything. A Bankbuster does not matter. They do know that I have this Rattle Chain still, so I don't really think there's anything they could draw, even with the Bankbuster and having 2 additional mana here. I don't think there's anything other than... Oh, not even double Fatal Push does it because I have the Lofty Denial. Never mind. Okay, but it does look like they're going to make us try for it. I can respect that. Why did you leave the red untapped? I don't know. They could have just tapped this and left the Blood Crypt open, but oh well. So there's Fatal Push, and they know I have the Rattle Chains, so that's game over. Hooray. Game 1-1. So let's put in our invasions. Let's put in our lovely wedding announcements. And I guess I do like the Skyclaves. Cards that I don't want include these guys. There they are. I'm like, where the heck are the COs? Like, they're not great here. I don't want them. Okay, game 2's here with a 1-lander. Okay, let's put it back. This is infinitely better. And here, I guess I'm going to take out the Spectral Sailor. I already have a sweet 1-2-3 curve popping right now. So let's see how they come at us. Okay, do we have a Thoughtseize? We do. All right, so they're more than likely taking our wedding announcement, but honestly, that's fine. I still have my sick little curve of 1-2-3 here. And if it turns out that they're working with like a removal hand and not just like a Blood Tithe Harvester into Graveyard Trespasser into Shieldred draw, well, that's kind of where a hand like this will actually look pretty decent. And because I've got Mausoleum Wanderer, I'm also pretty well insulated against exactly a Bonecrusher Giant. Fatal Push from my nice friend. Good night, sweet friend, Prince. Do we have another Thoughtseize? We do. We do not have a Thoughtseize. We have something I like a little more right now. So this is actually super lit because if they do have a threat that I want to make cost more, that'll actually give me time for my Spell Queller to look nice and relevant. And yeah, Kiki Chiki definitely goes in that category. So if they want to go ahead and, I don't know, come at me with just like casting the Bonecrusher Giant, you know, you're allowed, right? And it looks like that is what's going to happen, but that's fine because that's not being used as a removal spell now. So I can just like do this and hold up either Spell Queller or Geistlight Snare, and I'm fairly happy to cast either of those things. If they cast something, then I get to use my Spell Queller. If they don't cast something, I think I still cast Spell Queller, if I'm being honest. Cast a spell? Dang. I think I still use it. Like if they want to use the Go for the Throat on a naked Spell Queller, that's fine by me. Yeah. But it's not like they got any value out of it. It's not like they got to kidnap a spell or anything like that. If they draw land, I can Rattle Chains and then Geistlight Snare the Fable, untap, Mutavault, can help attack invasion, and that will make for a nice little flip. So that's a thing too. I don't know. I'm just saying there's options here. So I go down to 10 here, and there's a Den and a Bugbear, which means this is going to get off scot-free. So let's see if the last card... Oh, god damn it. I was going to say, let's see if the last card isn't a Fatal Push, and it freaking is. All right. Unfortunate. Time to cry about it. Let's untap. Oh. mini dilemma. I think I'm just going to do this. So what I am medium crying about is the fact that if I animate this, attack the invasion for 3, flip the invasion, then I still don't actually have enough mana to cast my Geistlight Snare, which means that if they do want to just untap and cast the Kiki Jiki, they're just going to get to do that. And I can't really block the Bone Crusher Giant this turn. If they fire up the Hive of the Eye Tyrant, I can't block that either, and I go to 3, which actually super sucks because that means that even if I leave Mutavault back to block Bone Crusher Giant, I won't get to survive the Hive of the Eye Tyrant attack. Oh, this is almost best case, where they just like attack me for 4, I go to 6. That's fine. What are you casting post-combat then, Nikiki? Stomp my face, cast Bone Crusher Giant 2. I don't think I have a problem with that actually, because I got the Mutavault. Oh, sick. This is super good for me unless they fire up a creature land. So if they want to fire up a creature land here, then yeah, sucks to be me. I'm not going to get to block the Hive of the Eye Tyrant. But if they fire up the Den and a Bugbear instead, still not pretty, but I at least get really good blocks from the Light Shield Array. And if I activate Mutavault to help with those blocks, I can still cast my Geistlight Snare. So, you know, not all's lost. So like, what's my best case scenario here? They attack with both Bone Crushers and they try to cast a Fable post-combat. That's my best case scenario. And that does not qualify as best case. Oh, you know what? I think I lied. I only have 3 blockers, so I can't like profitably double block anything. Yeah, I can't block this turn, which kind of stinks. But I can at least do this and pop my Light Shield Array and go to 1. So that's not nothing. And now if I can draw something else to help me block this, I'd be pretty thankful, deck. That counts. That certainly counts. So how much can I attack for here? 2? Yes, I can safely attack for 2. Yeah, so I have 3 blockers and the ability to cast Geistlight Snare. Okay, so far, not very sad anymore. I pretend a little bit, but we're currently okay. What kills me? A Bone Crusher Giant Stomp actually does just kill me. Oh, that's a great sign for me. Let's untap. Thing with Flash. No! I was very politely asking you to not have that. No, no, I'm gonna get punished so hard. Not like this. Oh my god, okay. That's on me too, because I knew that I needed to tap specifically this Mutavault too. Oh god, I am gonna get punished because now they're finally gonna cast it. I'm gonna feel really stupid. Oh, please attack with a creature land. Nope, I'm just gonna feel really fucking dumb. Oh god. Oh, this does not feel great now. Is that helpful? It might actually be a little helpful. Yeah, that counts as helpful. So what happens here? They can no longer have the line of attack and animate a creature land at the same time and use the treasure token to make Go for the Throat. Like, that can't happen anymore. So that part's at least nice. If they fire up Den and a Bugbear, then I just lose on a spot because I'm at 1 and they have 3 attackers to my 2 blockers. Oh, they're gonna let me use my card. All right. And they can't cast the Go for the Throat, so that was really good for me. So another Spell Queller. Do I do anything other than attack the invasion? I think the answer is no. I think I just attack the invasion and make myself really happy about this Spell Queller that's in my hand. So let's cast our Light Shield Array. We have a 4/5 coming right up. And let's see what our opponent does. So now I have the ability to produce 3 blockers and they don't know about the Queller. Cool. The Reflection with me being at 1 does scare the living shit out of me. At least now, the Go for the Throat both costs 4 and isn't guaranteed to do anything. So what happens here? I Spell Queller. They can attack and cast the Go for the Throat, but that dies to Light Shield Array. Sick. All right. And if they want to throw away the Shaman, that's what has to happen if they want to attack and even make the treasure in the first place. So if anything, it's probably more likely that they simply don't have a treasure token made this turn at all, because I've still got the Mutavault, so like they can't really like attack. And even next turn, the line of like Kiki into this so that they can attack, even that doesn't really stand up. So I think we're actually almost fine. Being at 1 is still really scary, but we do know where 3 of their Bone Crusher Giants are. So really we're just watching out for like the 4th Bone Crusher Giant or any 3/3 effects. What is that stupid 3/3 called? Graveyard Trespasser. Oh no, don't start running out of gas now. So what do I want to do here? They can produce 4 attackers next turn, assuming no help. One of these, make a token, one of these, 3, 4 attackers. So I think I just attack with my giant spell queller. Yeah, I'm just gonna attack with my giant spell queller. So they go down to 12. This goes up to a 5/6. I'm not gonna play my Seachrome Coast because I do want them to potentially walk into a line where they thought seized themselves and maybe take another turn away from themselves. Yeah, so maybe this way, if they decide to, like, I don't know, try to go for the throat something, I can Light Shield Array. I've got 5, 8, 9 damage currently in the air. So long as they don't have another removal spell that can kill this spell queller in their hand right now. So what they could do is go for the throat, my friend, to unlock Shieldred and have Shieldred burn me. I pop Light Shield Array, and then they respond with a second removal spell. The good part about that is that the second removal spell can't be named like Rending Valley or Fry because it's now a 5/6. So that's actually why we've been doing these attacks, is to escape that range, and we've done so. A Haunted Ridge is actively great for me. The untap. I will happily pop this Light Shield Array. So the question becomes, I'm just gonna pop it. I'm not gonna put Mutavaults up or anything. Okay, so now they're back on 0 resources, and we have a Supreme Phantom. Is that lethal? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's go. Game. Blouses. Right, one sad opponent coming right up. Well, let's see if we can trophy this league. Oh, hell yeah, we got the die roll for round 5. Let's go. We also got a 5-lander, so about that. Ooh, we have a pleasant opponent. All right, we'll be nice back. This hand is definitely keepable, so we're keeping it. I want to gamble on a land drop. Yeah, that looks better to me. So we just went ahead and compared the hands that had the Mutavault versus the hands that had the Darker Wastes, and I think I like the look of the hand that had the Mutavault, even though I understand double spelling on turn 3 might get a little complicated if I do draw land. So if I draw like an Iganjo, for example, the Mutavault version of the hand kind of looks terrible, but I'm likely holding up Spell Queller anyway, so whatever, fuck it. This is what we're doing. So let's do this. This hand also does become a little bit sad with the Mutavault if I happen to draw into exactly a CO, but I am prepared to gamble just a little bit, I guess. Hall of Storm Giants. Are we playing a mirror or are we playing against blue-white control? Find out this time. Okay. Either way, we're doing this. So now let's see if this is a Spectral Sailor or if it's just like, I don't know, Cycle Sensor. Looks like the answer is neither. Island? Ledger Shredder. Oh no, are we playing against fucking Phoenix? Well, that's annoying. That makes it less annoying, but remember my earlier point about the whole, whatever the fuck. What is that stupid card called? Darker Wastes. So let's just do this. I assume they block the Supreme Phantom, but I'll give them the chance to fuck up and block the Wanderer. Oh, yes, let's do this. We absolutely take those. Give me the fucking loot. All right, well, that's gonna feel good later. So I still would like to draw a land, especially a blue land, to make this hand really like pop. Here, I don't think I'm gonna bother with the pieces of the puzzle. I think, actually, no. Not letting this resolve sets them back so far. No, I am going to make them skip a turn with that. So the difference is that it does definitely make me skip like an entire turn's worth of attacking, right? Because now I only have 3 damage on the table instead of 5. But this way, I have Slip Out the Back, I've got Geistlight Snare. So we actually do have some pretty decent turns lined up, even though I'm still not drawing the land that I'm kind of desperate for at this point. Okay, they do have a 4th land. Opponent, if you would like to give me one of those Otuaras, I'd be all about that. So what's this? This is probably a Lightning Axe, but I think I still do this. And if it's a Lightning Axe for my Supreme Phantom, then it sucks to be me, but I would rather... Oh no, they can also just like let this get countered and then they have 2 spells for Fiery Impulse too. Okay. I think even letting that possibility occur is still better for me than... Oh, that's actually fine. So when you're playing Magic Online, you can actually right click and it will tell you which one is newly controlled. I do want to tap the one that's newly controlled, so I'm going to do that and activate, right clicking again, the one that is not summoning Sick. And I assume that might be relevant for somebody at some point. It's a Consider. Never mind. Sick. I do not care about a Consider at all. I care very much about you taking 6. And here I can choose between Slip Out the Back and Mausoleum Wanderer, and I would rather Mausoleum Wanderer. Oh yeah. First game over Phoenix. That feels good. So I want the disputes. I actually do want portable holes. And honestly, keep it real, I just kind of want all this shit. I just want like literally everything here. Don't really want COs. Shacklegeists are actually pretty good here. I gotta cut a lot of cards still. There. Go a little bit bigger. Not really trying for the whole CO thing at all. I could have put in Invasion and Gobakhan as well. And oh, this feels pretty decent. I'm in for this. So now the first couple of things like Ledger Shredders and or Thing in the Ice, if they play those, are kind of solved, and a follow-up wedding announcement's pretty good. And what's this, just a sorcery speed cantrip? Yeah, okay, that's fine. I certainly don't mind that they're doing those things at sorcery speed. So let's go ahead and simply play a tap land on turn 1, since they're not going to be doing anything that I need to be reacting to or anything here. A Shacklegeist. So I have options. I can simply run the Shacklegeist into removal now, and doing that avoids me wasting my turn, but it does let them use their mana a little bit profitably. I think I'm actually fine with that. So yeah, if they just like want a Fiery Impulse or even a Rending Valley, I was kind of hoping for a Rending Valley if I'm being honest, but this is still fine, right? Like they get to cast something cool on their end, but I get to cast a wedding announcement now, so I won't be happy about the fact that they have access to cool things like, say, Ledger Shredders or whatever resolving on this turn. Or even their own treasure cruise. They got Pieces of the Puzzle and Mystical Dispute are what they kept. Okay. But at least I'm going to get to resolve this, start the pain train going, and relevant to the back half of this, I do have 2 Mutavaults. So they probably got a little bit of work to do if they want to actually get past this little army in a can that is this guy. The Ledger Shredder is fine because I've got Portable Hole. Hopefully this is not like, oh, that's fine. So if they make a land drop into Treasure Cruise, then sure, it's a little less fine, but like, keep it real, this is still like okay by me. Phoenix is obnoxious, of course, but that is kind of like what their whole thing is. Well, you know, I legitimately don't know if I agree with casting this Treasure Cruise now. Because they already had the Arclight Phoenix, and that's only spell number 2, I think that might have actually been a mistake. So I'm going to Portable Hole first to avoid triggering the Ledger Shredder. I am going to play you to get around Summoning Sickness, but I'm also just going to jam you. I think I would rather have the Supreme Phantom developed than get cute with attacks and try to trigger Wedding Announcement to draw a card. Like, I think I actually want the token a little bit more. Mana? Are you casting another Pieces? Yes, you are. Okay. Can't do much about that. You got it. They got another Consider and Pieces again. Okay. Fire Impulse, Goodnight Sweet Prince. So now they can consider and get back to Phoenix. Okay, sure. Currently not too much I can do about that. You may have your Phoenix. Oh, we have a Hall of Storm Giants. Okay. Yeah, we take those. So let's go ahead and animate. I think I do want to animate this one as well and just be tapped out for a turn. The likelihood of me drawing a counter spell to make use of with the draw trigger from this, it is not 0. Oh, that's actively pretty good. So like, this is pretty good now, because like now my Mutavaults are going to be 3/3s and not 2/2s. My Skyclave Apparition gets rid of this Phoenix and keeps it gone. I still get pretty decent attacks in next turn, assuming all goes at least half decent. Oh, we're shocking. What are we shocking into that costs 3? Another Brotherhood's End? We see one here. You can't Brotherhood's End profitably for artifacts. Oh, what are we doing with this? Are we potentially trying to Mystical Dispute a white spell? That makes some non-zero amount of sense. I think I'm just going to attack with my 2/2, Skyclave Apparition, and give myself the ability to make use of Hall of Storm Giants. Okay, so there's a removal spell coming at my human token, which is, whoa, what costs 2? Oh, that's fine. It's fine. I haven't actually cast a spell yet either, so they can block with this, and that's kind of whatever, but I'm going to get to Portable Hole and Skyclave Apparition, and neither of those happen to be blue spells, so this lovely little telegraphed Mystical Dispute is not going to actually doing anything. And I love that for just us. Are you killing my other token? Yeah, you are. Sure. So they get to loot first, which makes total sense to me. Getting rid of a Brotherhood's End? There's no way that's right. Whatever. Not my problem. All right. Piss off, Ledger Shredder. Oops. Also featuring some very friendly cuss words for your friend's Arclight Phoenix. Boop. And they still are drawing up to 5 cards this turn, so I'm nowhere near out of the woods. The Hall of Storm Giants might actually be pretty decent from them too. What's scarier is if they end up just like finding a Treasure Cruise. That's really scary. Also, I would love to start drawing some non-lands. I mean, yes, I've been drawing non-lands all game, so I'm just complaining. But like, 2 lands in my hand is not where I want to be against Phoenix. A Lofty Denial's actually kind of decent. So doing this turn right, I can do this and hold up a Lofty Denial, which is not actually great because it is just a Force Spike right now. I don't have any flyers, but Impulse sucks. You get a 4/4, you get to block one of my 3/3s. Oh god, bad times. Okay, we're in the weeds. Uh-oh. Oh no, we just died. Oh no. Ah, we suck. We suck. All right, game 3. Ah. All right, but on the play, I actually do want these invasions. I'm a lot less worried about these specific 3 drops on the draw. All right, so let's play first, and let's get rid of this hand, and let's keep this one. Okay, good talk. So here I want to obviously keep all of these. It almost feels wrong to put the slip out the back. Yeah. So we are both bullying to 6, which is nice, but I think I would rather gamble on the land drop to cast this on time than get rid of a slip out the back when I have both of these creatures. What? Okay, that was weird. Not sure what Moto did there, but my Mausoleum Wanderer went dark for a little bit, and I was pretty worried about Moto just like denying me the ability to cast it. That's definitely what I thought was happening there. So what are we casting? Spikefield Hazard. Nothing is relevant for my graveyard. I'm not playing Extraction Specialist, but they don't know that. Geistlight Snare. That'll be pretty decent later, but I will actually need to be able to cast my Wedding Announcement to make it cost 1. Right now, having it cost 2 isn't that bad. They can Rending Valley here, but now I'm in the territory that I need to actually like draw a land. So we're considering that might do a Fiery Impulse some good. Hopefully not. It does. And land. Oh no. Okay, we're feeling bad. Now I don't have a creature for my slip out the back, and my Wedding Announcement can't be cast because I put the land back instead of the slip. So we are having some regrets. I knew it was a gamble, and the fact that it did not pan out, it sucks immensely. But that's a chance that I knew I was taking when I even kept the hand, so I can't be that mad about it. I can certainly be sad about the end result, but let's see what happens here. So that's 6-7 cards. They can cast a Treasure Cruise if they got it. I have to assume they have it. If they do cast it, though, it means that they don't have an Arclight Phoenix, and it looks like they are going to cash in. So that's actually pretty good for them. Like, they go up to 8 cards. If any of those 3 cards are a land, then they can make their land drop and be at 7 cards. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Oh god, they shocked it in too, so it's probably a kill spell. It is. And they found another Phoenix too. Nice. Oh man. Alright, well, everything's coming up opponent. So I can't be terribly sad or surprised. Again, I knew the hand I kept. Yeah, sure, I feel a little dumb for it, but I knew that was a risk. I'm still going to be salty for a little bit, though. Pieces of the puzzle. What did I keep? Opt and a Spell Pierce. Okay. Well, I can't block with my non-flyer. Another Geistlight Snare. Okay. So, honestly, not great for me. I do need to find just like a flyer or something to deal with this Arclight Phoenix for now. I'm at 7 effectively right now, so that's getting a little bit dangerous. I guess the upside is that at least the first relevant thing that they don't mind walking into a Geistlight Snare, they would have to use a Spell Pierce on to protect it, so like we know what's happening in that direction, I guess. But I think I'm just kind of full of copium right now. I'm just like absolutely in the fucking weeds. All right, what's this? Pieces of the puzzle. Okay, so I will make you use the Spell Pierce on that. Okay, so let's see what they find with this pieces of the puzzle now. Fiery Impulse and another Treasure Cruise. Yikes. Still not great by any means, but I guess that's kind of doing something. So I do get to draw a card instead of make another token. The Supreme Phantom becomes a 3 or a 2/4 because this flips. So, and I drew a Dispute. I don't think that's going to be terribly relevant here, but the fact that I have a 2/4 against Phoenix is super relevant. And if they try to do the thing where they are just casting a cruise. Yeah, they're casting a cruise. So if they do the thing where like they attack with the Phoenix into my 2/4 Supreme Phantom and they just like let me block, right? But then post combat try to use the removal spell to like guarantee that my Supreme Phantom dies. That's not that bad for me. If they Brotherhood's End, that's only 3 damage, so that's fine. Your Phoenix is dead to that. But I still have my slip out the back here. And yes, this is still pretty likely to like bite it to another counterspell or something here, but at least we're making them use all of these resources. So the Phoenix comes back. I'm still at 4. We knew that was a possibility. But here, if we draw another flyer, then we can present another good scenario. And Otawara is not what I was looking for. So I think that's kind of a death knell, drawing to land there. So how different would this game have been had I simply kept the land instead of, yeah, let's dispute. And remember, our Geistlight Snare does only cost 2 because we have an enchantment. But there's really not a lot that saves us here. So I'm just going to go to 1 and be real sad about it. If they have another Spikefield Hazard, then that will kind of be the ball game. And that's not really going to do it. So yeah, well, GG's opponent, and I guess we'll have to be happy with a 4-1. Okay, so this list was pretty fun, not going to lie. And I guess y'all can see a lot of why we did really super well over the course of the weekend. So now that I'm recording, I guess, our outro, I am a day after the regional championships have finally finished. So can you tell I've been just like trying to play Magic here and there when I've had the ability to? Like, we started the league in the middle of the regional championships. We finished the league after the events finished, so it is what it is. But now that the events finished, you can see why this style of deck was just so absurdly powerful and why it won so much. Like, we're able to tackle a lot of our really hard matchups like Rakdos Midrange by adapting a more, I guess, mid-range, bigger strategy with the Skyclave apparitions, the wedding announcements, the invasion of Gobakons, and we're able to kind of settle in and play that longer game. You see here, with no dedicated graveyard hate or really anything special, you know, we were able to kind of take the Arclight Phoenix deck, kind of, we made life really hard for them, and they had to take it to 3 games, even though we don't have a dedicated side forward for that, and that's kind of a terrible matchup. Luckily, it doesn't come up too much, so I'm not going to make a dedicated plan for that deck. But if it does, you know, start to show up in droves again, then we can start playing Graveyard Hate. But until that time comes, I'm cool with this. We got to make use of the Catilda, and it was pretty big in combat when it mattered. So I think it was like, what, a 7/7 at one point or something crazy? So, like, that huge lifelink swing is pretty big when your opponent's just trying to get you dead. And the slip out the backs came up pretty huge. Like, we played against some decks that had just a mega crap ton of removal, and we never really had to do the thing where we got cute and removed the blocker with the slip out the back, but that's also an option that's available, so that's going to be a thing that, you know, maybe you'll end up loving yourself. And of course, the big bad creature lands, you know, they showed up and did their thing too. So overall, pretty impressed with this version of the deck. And there's like 3 or 4 flex plots that I like to play with every now and then. So this deck's also customizable, which is nice. So, like, you can tune your sideboard to your environment. You can tune your main deck even to your environment. So, like, if people just aren't really playing, for example, Rakdos Midrange where you live, then you don't need to be playing 3 slip out the backs in the main. Just random stuff like that. You can kind of make your deck do whatever it is you want it to do. But anyway, I'm really glad to finally get a video up and have an opportunity to speak to all of you again. And if you were impressed by Spirits this weekend, let me know. But that's going to be it for today. If you like what you saw, make sure you click like, let me know. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'd love to have lots and lots of y'all here. And I'll see y'all on the next one.